the day after Christmas 2016. I was staying in a motel on 6th Avenue, and I was running out of money, and I had nowhere to go staying in a motel because they were it just wasn't working out. You know, I was couch surfing. I lost my apartment. Well, first of all, I'm an alcoholic. Second of all, I lost my apartment because I just couldn't get enough hours at my job. And so I ended up couch surfing, and I couldn't stay with them any longer, and I ended up, like I said, at the motel, and I was out of money, and I didn't know what to do. So I was outside smoking a cigarette and looking around, and it was a big snowstorm, so I'm looking out at the snow and just looking at the sky, and over to my right was this big billboard that said hope, big huge letters. And I just went, oh yeah, right, there's no hope for me. And I just looked back at the ground, and I just thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I went in and I sat down on the edge of the bed, and I opened up this little phone book and looked a little closer, and it said Eugene Mission. And I went, well, you donate, to the Eugene Mission. I know they feed people. I wonder if they know where I can stay. I'm calling. And hemmed and hawed, and then finally I called, and Deb answered the phone. And she said, if you can get here by noon, we have one bed left. And I just thought, okay, and I'm right up the street, but I have all these bags. What am I going to do? And so I opened the phone book again, and a friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in 5 years was in the phone book and answered the phone on a landline. And he said, I said, what are you doing? I really need a ride. I need to get to the Eugene Mission. And of course, he dropped everything he was doing and brought me here. So I sat down. We had wooden pews back then, and I sat down in the pew in front of the lockers, just scared, not knowing what I was going to do and why am I here and what's going to happen to me. And as I went like this on the wall, there was a little teeny tiny wrought iron sign that said hope. I went like this and turned my head, and in the office window, a little wooden plaque that said hope. I thought, okay, there's something to this. So I turned around. I said, I really don't want to look at that. I'm not here. And turned around, and on the back wall was a big wrought iron, beautiful cross. I immediately knew that, okay, I'm safe. I'm home. I'm here. I belong here. There's a reason I'm here. I'm here. So because we have to travel up the road, and I was working up the street, and I had to travel every day to go to work up this road. There's a recovery place right up the road, and I think that's supposed to be that way because December 28th, I walked into the doors of that recovery place, and as I walked in and opened up to go to the meeting, on the big mural, as big as life, hope. So something about that kept me going, and because of the restrictions here, I was able to continue to be a part of this and be a part of that, and I've now adapted myself to both. I'm part of both. I'm part of the furniture around here now. It seems like. But 7 months later, I was offered a position to a work-live situation, so I immediately jumped on it, and it worked out pretty well for about 1.5 years until the owner sold the house and all the roommates had to leave, and I had once again had nowhere to go. However, this time I'd been working on my sobriety, and I was further along, 1.5 years sober, and it was different coming back. It was another situation. If you can get here by 10 o'clock instead of noon, we have one bed left. It was the same situation, and but a little bit different. And I came in and I stayed, and then suddenly my body started to deteriorate, and old age things started to happen. And it turns out that I became disabled, couldn't do my work anymore. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it was just a nightmare. And suddenly I found that I was losing mobility of my left arm. And so I went into the doctor, and I had to have a surgery, had to have a repair on my cervical spine. And because the blessings from here, we opened a medical area, and I was able to recover from that first surgery, which was 1 year ago, in the medical area. And then it failed because I have severe degeneration, and it failed. So I had to have another one 6 months later. And I'm still in the medical area recovering. So because of that blessing that was offered to myself and others, I was able to recover from that. And because of the support system that I have with the staff, I went through a tremendous amount of emotional things that were happening to me, because I also at the same time found out through pro bono. There's a world-renowned surgeon that used to come down at the service area office, and I was prompted to offered an opportunity to see him because things were happening to my vision that I wasn't aware of. And I thought, why am I bumping into people? Why am I tripping over things? And what's going on? And he diagnosed me with glaucoma of the optic nerve. Well, then I started having what I thought were little strokes, and it turns out I also have ocular migraines, and my eyes are healthy, but my nerves are glaucomic. So it's kind of a really weird, but he saw it. I went to 4 other physicians, and it all came full circle to what he diagnosed. And so I'm very blessed there that I was able to have that opportunity to see him and find out what's going on, because it in turn, I'm very proactive in what's going on with myself. So I in turn went to the Oregon Commission for the Blind, and they provided me with a used cane so that I can get around without falling. And I haven't fallen in 2 years because of it. So this has been an amazing transformation for me, because I started wearing the dark glasses, and I was so nervous about that because I believe that the windows are the eyes to the soul, and I was afraid that you all would think I was hiding something, and my eyes kind of wander, and now they kind of wander around, and it makes me feel like there's something I don't know, it just makes me feel very uncomfortable. But I just gravitated through that because all of you understood, and all of you didn't judge me, and you accepted me, and we moved on with it. And so it's been 2 years now, and I'm doing pretty good. And I wasn't. If we'd have had this interview a year ago, probably wouldn't have been quite so. Would have been a little bit more emotional than I'm expecting now. But I'm happy. I'm thrilled to be leaving. But it's a bittersweet, because I really consider you my family. I can't make it down to the kitchen anymore, but I remember going to the kitchen, the dining room, and I remember all the experiences that I've had there, good and bad. There's been good and bad about all of this, but I miss it. I find myself missing the camaraderie and the eating with others and the enjoying food and drink with everyone. A favorite moment that I've had here. Yes, out in the garden. I used to be able to go to the garden. I can't do that anymore because of my vision now, but across the street in the garden, we discovered these flowers. We didn't know if they were flowers or plants or what they were, and they looked like outer space things, because they had zing, 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 zing. They were round, and they just had all these straight things with these little knobs on the end, and we thought, my goodness, what is this? And there's another one, and there's another one, and we just kept finding them, and we thought, okay, it's coming from outer space. So we come rushing in here, and we tell Deb was at the counter. She was working at guest services, and look, we picked one and brought it in. Look what we found. Look at what this is. And she did the same thing. So because we were thinking we were crazy, like we're imagining this is not for real. And so we ended up doing our research, and we found out it's a family of the onion. So, and it is very popular around here, but I and the gal I was with had never seen anything like that. So yeah, that was pretty good. There's a lot of little memories like that. There's a lot of catastrophe type stuff too.
Yeah. It's going to be a hard place to be in. It can be a beautiful place to be.
I always said it was both. For every blessing, there's a little something that's going to remind you that this is not a hotel. This is not a place for you to stay forever. This is a transitional situation, and it very much has been for me. I never in a million years thought I would be in something like this, be in a situation like this. But what a blessing, because I also heard from gals that would come in from different states and different, even different missions in this state, and they would say how horrible it is and how wonderful this is. And yes, this is so wonderful. It's warm, it's safe. You have food. You have. Well, back when I first came here, well, 3 years ago or almost 4 years ago, they would they would deliver your jammies to your bed, and we all joked about that. But I thought, what a blessing, because we wash our pajamas every night, and in the morning, I mean at night when you came in from being out from the day, there's your pajamas all folded nice and neat on your bed for you, and these beautiful homemade quilts and handmade quilts, just, oh, what a beautiful, everything's clean. It's just, and safe, it's very safe, because I come from a background of some situations that weren't so safe, and you just feel safe and loved and appreciated. And do the masks bother you as bad as they do me?
I think the whole world is
I think
bothered by the
everybody's like,
mask.
okay. So I have been blessed. I got picked on the Homes for Good. I got picked on the lottery this time around. I'm number 48 on the lottery. But in the meantime, I'm so heavily involved in my program, and heavily involved, that during this pandemic, I'm a board member of the Jesco Club, and I've transitioned from a board member to a caretaker. And that was because they needed someone, and no one else applied, and it needs to stay survivable because of this. I truly believe, because of my situation, whoever might need something to start out, there it is, right there, within walking distance. And so I'm heavily involved in that. And so what I did was I addressed the board, and I asked them, even though we're closed, is there a chance that I could stay there and take care of the place, and make sure that it's ready to be open because they're moving forward towards opening, and as they move forward, I can make sure that everything's ready. And after a little bit of hemming and hawing, they voted yes, because they had already voted me in for the position. They just didn't want anybody there. They didn't know that they needed anybody there while they were closed. And it turns out they realized that it would be a benefit for me and for them to have me there. So I jumped on that, and I signed the contract, and so I will be doing that until my permanent housing comes through. So I thought, and I did a lot of praying around this. I didn't want to jump into another situation where it's going to land me back. Not that I don't want to come back, but I don't want to keep bouncing back and forth to an unknown. I need something permanent, like everybody else needs something permanent. So yeah, it's and everything's falling into place. So I know that it was the right decision, because there's no struggle with this. And if there was a struggle, I would think that it might not supposed to be happening. if I'm struggling, or there's some kind of hesitance or whatever. So
I'm so glad your path's taken you to a place that you get to give hope to other people.
yes, I've been working with others a lot. I'm very, very devoted. Before this happened, I was going to 3 and 4 meetings a day, 6 days to 7 days a week. Very, very devoted. It changed my life. It changed everything about me, even at my age. It did, and I figure if it could do it at my age, it could do it to others. It in turn has turned my son's life around. He fell into the homeless situation, and he keeps telling me that I am his example. And he now has almost a year sober, and he lives in an Oxford house, and he's doing super amazing. And he admires me for staying here and waiting and being patient and not jumping around back to where I was, couch surfing with undesirable situations. So yeah.
Well, do you have anything you want to say to anybody who might be hesitant to come to the mission?
Yes, do not hesitate. There's a new program right now that's absolutely amazing. If that program were available when I first came here, I would have jumped on that And I would still jump on it if I didn't already have this opportunity, because this program is going to teach you, help you, show you. It's going to open up a whole new world for you, and you will be able to see that people do really care. They really have your best interests at heart, and we're all working together. And it's what we're supposed to do. And don't hesitate. Come, go through what you got to go through, the transition, because I'm not going to lie, it's an absolute transition. You have to understand that, oh, everything's different. Oh, look at all these people. Oh, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but we're all one big happy family here, and the safety and love and understanding and respect is all there. Always. Thank you. Me too.
Could I have a hug? I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful to you. Always. It's been such a blessing.